What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Time More Tech. I'm Ty Moore, and today we're talking about trackers. Now I know what you're thinking. Ty is a spy, and he's going to teach us spy things. You're not too far from the truth when it comes to these trackers. But no, these are consumer products that you can get at your local electronics store. There are a few different kinds. I've been using these over the last week or so. I know what you're thinking. Ty's a spy and he's going to start teaching us spy tricks. I'm not, but these things are pretty slick. And you might want to pick up one or two. What are they? Who are they for? And do you need it? Have you ever misplaced your keys? Yes, you have. Have you ever wished you could find your wallet or something of that nature? Or maybe you want to know where your luggage is at. If your luggage is supposed to be at the airport, is it where they said it was going to be? Huh? Well, there are a few different companies who are making these tracker chips that come in different shapes and sizes. The idea is that you would put this thing on something of your belongings that you want to make sure you don't lose. That might be your keys, might be your backpack, might be your luggage, even your wallet. And you track that thing through an app on your phone. So that company has an app that you would be able to track that device with. So obviously you're not actually tracking your wallet, you're tracking the thing that is in your wallet. You're not tracking your keys, you're tracking the thing that is attached to your keys. So these companies have a couple different variations. Tile, there's a company called Tile who's been doing this for a little bit longer than everybody else. And they have a few different options. So here you've got kind of your standard tracker. This one is a little bit bulkier than some of the other ones that even Tile makes, but it's got a metal frame around the outside and a harder plastic here in the middle. They also make one that is like a credit card. It's a little bit thicker than a credit card, but if you have a big wallet and you have some spare room and you can slide that into there, this one would be nice for tracking your wallet. The other ones aren't great for your wallet, even this one. It's just kind of thick and bulky, and this one has a click to it, and so you probably don't want that squeezing up against a bunch of stuff. And then there are a couple different companies. I mentioned Tile before. I've been using this one by Chipolo. This was one of the first ones that Apple opened up to their tracking system. And then Apple just released their own that they're calling an AirTag. And this is Apple's version of these trackers. A few things that all of these do. All of these, in some way or another, are going to connect to the thing that you want to track. They are all somewhat water resistant. And almost all of them, except for the Apple AirTag, have a click to them. So the tile one here is right in the center. This tile one is here in the corner. It's got a little click button. And then the Chipolo is right in the center. You can click that. They do fairly different things. Each one of them, you use that for pairing, the clicking, to sort of say that you want to pair it. Once it's been paired, then that has a little bit different function. On the Chipolo, it has a little feature where you're paired to your phone, obviously. If you double click it, it will actually ring on your phone. So that's a feature that the Chipolo has that the other ones don't, where it will ring your phone for you. So the idea is if you have your keys, but you don't have your phone, you can double click that and it's gonna ring your phone for you. It's kind of a neat feature. I haven't used that yet, but I haven't been using this for a long time. So that's not to say it wouldn't ever come in handy. But rarely have I got my keys on me and I just can't find my phone. But maybe that happens to a lot of people. My keys are the thing that I usually misplace though. The Apple AirTag does not have any sort of click button to it. And I'm gonna do a deeper dive on this one in a video coming up. But this one is also water resistant. The back here snaps off. You twist that and pop it off and that gives you access to the battery. They all have replaceable batteries. That has been something that over the years they've had to improve on. People want to be able to replace the batteries. But they all advertise that they last like a year to 2 years on that single battery in there, which is pretty nice. Another feature that each of these have that I was surprised by when I started using them is that they all make a noise. So the Chipolo one here, you can see there's a little side thing. It has a little speaker in it, as do all the little tiles. Even the Apple AirTag has a little speaker in it that will make noise. So once you get close to the thing, you can have it play a sound, and then you can locate the thing a little bit better. Lastly, for similarities, the way all of these things are going to work is they pair with the Bluetooth on your phone, and your phone will remember where that thing is at as long as it's connected to your phone. And then if you set your keys down or you set your backpack down or somebody takes it, your phone isn't going to be connected to that thing anymore because it connects via Bluetooth. So it's going to remember where that thing was when you last had it connected to your phone. But then each of these are going to use their own network to try to ping that device. So if you set your keys down somewhere, let's say you leave them on a train and they fall in a crack of the seat or something, your phone is no longer connected to this thing, but as long as there are people around or it passes people that use the Tile app on their phone will sort of ping this thing and update to the internet and tell you where that thing was at when it last connected to somebody else's phone. So it's constantly updating its location. Each of these do that, but that's kind of the downside to each of them as well. So the less popular option that you go with, the fewer people using that thing's network. I had heard of Tile when I first started looking into these. I had heard of Tile. I had never heard of Chipolo. I had heard of Chipolo just recently because they were one of the first brands that Apple allowed to start using its Find My network or that app. But Tile has been doing this longer and so has a larger base of people that will be using that app. And so it's in your best interest to use something that more people use because it's going to be easier to track your device. Does that make sense? So let's say you have a Chipolo tag on your keys, which I have had for the last week. If I lose my keys somewhere and I'm away from them and I go to find them, it's going to remember the last place that this was connected to my phone. But let's say that that thing was moving, say a train or a bus or whatever, or somebody picks them up and takes them somewhere to a lost and found. The only way this is going to update the location is if other people have the Chipolo app and their phone pings my Chipolo tracker. On the other hand, if I use a Tile tracker and the same thing happens and my keys get moved somehow, there are more people who use the Tile app than use the Chipolo app. So it's going to be more likely that I'm going to find a more updated location on my device because more people use it. Now this feature, using the network of people that already use the device, is where we start to see some differences in these trackers. Now what I mean by that is, Chipolo I had not heard of till a couple weeks ago. Tile I'd heard of because they've been doing this for a long time. Apple AirTags, maybe you hadn't heard of the AirTags, but you definitely have heard of Apple. And the giant advantage that Apple has with AirTags is that instead of just people who use AirTags, like with these, the people who use these and their app, these will update to any iOS device connected to the internet. That means iPads, iPhones, any Apple device that's connecting to the internet can ping one of these and tell you a more updated location. So if you compare these to the number of iPhones out there, these start to fall way behind. There's actually a giant lawsuit happening with Tile and Apple right now because Tile thinks that's unfair, that Apple has this giant advantage. But as far as you're concerned, purchasing one of these things, you're gonna get a much better location if you have an iPhone with an Apple AirTag. A couple more differences as we're going along. This one Tile, they have a few different form factors. Chipolo is kind of limited to this circle disc, but it's got a hole in it. Like the Tile, you can run your keys through there. You can run your keys on this one. The thing I don't like about these with the hole in them is that they're just clunky on my keys. I don't like having a bunch of stuff on my keys. And so to add that thick of a thing onto there just annoys me. But it is nice that there's a little hole that you can add that. Like I said, Tile has a different form factor as well, so you can slip that into a wallet. I use the Apple Wallet, so this is too thick for that because I need that space for other cards. The Apple AirTag does not have any sort of holes on it. I love that and I hate that. I like it because all the room inside of there is being used. Whereas this Tile, like there's a lot of wasted space over here that they're not putting stuff into. On the other hand, I can't hook this to anything without getting a case for it. So as annoying as it is that you have to get another case for it, it's also kind of nice because there's a bunch of people making them. And so you can get all kinds of different ways of putting these into something. But that's the same for these. You can get different attachments for these to hang them wherever you want to hang them. So to answer the question, do you need it? I would say, yeah. These are all pretty reasonably priced, actually. Believe it or not, the Apple AirTag is only $29.99. It's 30 bucks for this little puck that is going to last in battery life for probably a year. You can replace the battery. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money to get some sort of attachment for it. I bought one for 15 bucks, just a little sleeve that's going to go on my keychain. These are all going to be similar in price. Tile has the most different options for form factor. Chipolo, they give you some free features that Tile charges you for. On the Tiles, they've been doing this for a while, and so they have a little bit of a lead. But they have a monthly subscription that you can pay where if you leave your keys at home, it will send a notification to your phone saying, hey, did you leave these? Chipolo does that for free. And I've noticed that with my keys when my family and I get in our minivan and leave, and I leave the keys to my car at home, it will give me a notification saying, hey, did you forget your keys? I'm already like a mile away from my house when I get that notification, but it is nice that it sends that notification to you so you can turn around and go get the thing that you forgot. I assume this is going to be different depending on what you set it up as. I would hope that if I put this as luggage, it's not going to notify me every time I leave the house without the luggage. So I wouldn't want to take every single tracker that I own with me everywhere that I go. But I think with certain things that you set it up as, it's going to notify you when you leave the house, assuming that you would have had that thing every time you leave the house. So as far as cool technology is concerned, these are pretty inexpensive. And they solve a really big problem, which is we waste a lot of time trying to find stuff that we misplaced. As these things become more and more popular, we're going to see more and more third-party options for cases, for ways to hang these on things, and to make better use of them. You're going to have to decide, do you want to go with Tile, that's been around longer and has a few different options? Do you want to go with Chipolo, who's trying to make a name for themselves by giving you free stuff? Do you want to go with Apple AirTags because they already have a great name and they have a giant network that they can tap into that's going to give you more information on like the location of your stuff? I don't know which ones of these you ought to get, but I do think it would be a worthwhile investment even to try it out. There is a very low bar for entry. You can get 1 or 2 or 10 of these for pretty cheap and try them out. You can give them as gifts to people. I intend to get more of these because I think they're going to be really handy. There are some things that I'd like to keep better track of in my life. Stay tuned to the channel for a deep dive into the Apple AirTags. I've been using this and will give a little bit more information. There's a lot of things that these do, and there's a few things that these don't do that are important to note when you're thinking about getting a tracker. All right, that's it for this video. I hope this was informative. I hope that if this is the first time you're hearing about these trackers, you're excited and think that they might be something that you'd like to try. If you do, leave it in the comments below which direction you want to go. Tile, Chipolo, Apple AirTags. There are a couple other ones out there. These are kind of the main ones right now. What are you looking for? Why do you want to get it? If you have already used these in the past, let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you're interested in the Apple AirTags, stay tuned. I'll have a video on that here coming up, what I think about it, some of the cool features that you get with it. And that's it. I hope that I uncomplicated some of this complicated technology, and I hope you will stick around and watch a few more videos. Thanks.